Okay, the next film. This is the second Star Wars movie I ever saw. So, and it's the one I watched the most as a kid. Return of the Jedi. It came out May 25th, 1983. Highest grossing film of that year. I saw it like not very long after seeing Empire Strikes Back, so like I knew like how the story concluded, but not how it began.
I'm reading who's top billed on the back. The only one they ever specify is what character they play is Anthony Daniels as C-3PO.
Yeah. Anthony Daniels. We forgot to mention C-3PO.
Oh.
Nice.
He's a great character.
He's hilarious, especially in Empire Strikes Back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Return of the
apart.
Jedi, I gotta say, this is probably my second favorite of the series.
I think I would put it down lower than my second favorite.
I know a lot of people. There's some people that say this is their least favorite of the original trilogy, and for a while it was, but rewatching it, I think it's my second favorite. Because when I think of scenes from Star Wars, usually the first ones that pop in my head are scenes from Empire and scenes from Return of the Jedi.
For me, the scenes that pop in my head are usually from either...
I think of the stuff with Jabba and the stuff with Luke and Vader and the Emperor, and then I also think of Cloud City and
I
stuff on Hoth.
usually think of Empire Strikes Back and Revenge of the Sith, actually.
Not really. I really love this movie, I gotta say. It's a very entertaining movie. The DVDs.
Yep.
The DVD, as you can see, this was the... it's not the first appearance of the Emperor, because he was in Empire Strikes Back, but this is the first one where you actually see him. Like, not as a hologram. Yeah. And this one, it was directed by Richard Marquand, but there's a debate over like how much of the movie he directed. One thing I read said that George Lucas directed more of the action and visual effects shots, whereas Richard Marquand did more of the like emotional, dramatic moments in it.
Well, Lucas actually was also trying to get David Lynch to direct this movie.
I forgot to mention David
Lynch. Which would have been wonderfully weird if he had been given any control over this movie.
He did Dune instead, which is too bad. I think also David Cronenberg was also
really
supposed to direct it. This is a few years after Scanners, if I remember. That would have been an odd choice. I might be confusing it with a different film in the series, but I think Steven Spielberg was also considered to direct it. But I think he turned it down. So instead, it's directed. It's credited to Richard Marquand, but I think you also could have credited George Lucas as a co-director. Maybe.
Yeah.
It for a while, this was my least favorite of the original trilogy, partly because I felt like the Endor scenes kind of went on a bit too long.
Yeah.
And also, like the setting of a forest, like. It's not very, like, it just stops feeling like a science fiction.
Yeah.
Felt more like
a lot more like fantasy,
yeah.
especially when, like, Leia's given, like, the flower crown.
Yeah, and, like, she meets the Ewoks and stuff, which that's another thing that a lot of people don't like about the Ewoks.
Another thing, I think this is the planet that they spend the most time on in the original trilogy, is Endor. Because when
Tatooine, I think is the one.
Yeah.
I think Tatooine.
Oh, yeah, I forgot they also go back to it in 6.
Tatooine's like half that movie.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Endor's like maybe maybe Endor, maybe.
Because most of the scenes that I remember are from Endor.
The scenes with Leia, most of the scenes with Leia and Han are on Endor.
Yeah.
And C-3PO and R2-D2. But Luke is, meanwhile, on the Death Star, the second Death Star. They rebuild. They're trying to rebuild another Death Star.
They built a castle in a swamp.
Because that went so well the first time.
So we built another one.
Yeah. I like the design of this new Death Star, actually. There it is. Right
yeah, because it's not finished
yet. It's not fully finished. It looks kind of cool, actually. Yoda's also in this one. This one thing I remember out of this movie is this is the one where the most main characters die. Because
Yoda dies. The Emperor dies. Darth Vader.
Emperor. When I think of this movie, I think of the dramatic moments in it.
Yeah.
The dramatic moments are very good. My favorite scene of the movie is probably when you see Vader without his mask. Sebastian Shaw is a very, he plays, Anakin in that scene. He's very, very good. Very good actor. And just again, I almost cried during that scene.
And
There's
then,
just certain scenes that are just so like, oh my gosh. Yoda dies too, which is too bad. I kind of wish I had seen more of Luke training with Yoda.
Yeah.
But Yoda's death scene is very, I think, handled very well.
Now, out of all the characters in this, there's one to me that outshines the rest.
I don't know.
And that is definitely the Emperor.
The Emperor, you like the Emperor? Yeah.
The Emperor, I love the Emperor and Palpatine whenever he appears.
Ian McDermott is fantastic, I gotta say. Yeah, that's the Emperor.
I absolutely love his performance as the Emperor.
He's so creepy and like evil. He's just completely
he just feels evil whenever you see him.
He's completely evil. Because what's weird is Empire Strikes Back, when it was originally released, they did not have Ian McDermott as the Emperor. They had somebody else.
Yeah. Well, like the effect for it, it was like
they had weird makeup on.
Well, it was like modeled after like a monkey, like the top half of the head.
Chimpanzee.
Yeah, chimpanzee, but then the bottom half was like a human head.
And had somebody else dub over the voice. But in this one, you get to, and voice sounds completely different from Ian McDermott. And then in the special edition, they change it to Ian McDermott, which is an understandable change. I can see why they changed it,
just for consistency.
Yeah, but Ian McDermott's so good in this.
He's fantastic.
He's like just...
And we shall rule the galaxy.
I love that one part where he's like electrocuting Luke.
Oh yeah.
You think he's just this frail old man.
And he just starts shooting lightning out of his fingers.
He's just shooting lightning at him out of his fingers, and like Luke is just in agony. Oh my! And that's another thing. This of the original trilogy, this is my favorite Mark Hamill performance of the original trilogy. Yeah, because he sells the dramatic moments, but also you get to see him as a Jedi. He is a Jedi in this,
and he's pretty good as being a Jedi.
He has a green lightsaber. He's he gets to fight Vader again. You can tell he's definitely come a long way since Empire Strikes Back.
I kind of like his suit in this one too. His costume's pretty good.
His black suit, yeah, I like that. It's kind of a symbolism where you're not sure if he's going to turn to the dark side or not, And that duel with him and Vader, it's a hard pick, but I would say that's probably my second favorite duel of the series. Right behind the one in Empire. Maybe it is my favorite. I don't know. It's so good though, and the part where Vader throws the Emperor down.
I love that scene. Yeah. He just picks him up and goes, woo, and then you just see the giant blast of energy released as he died.
All the stuff with Luke, Vader, and the Emperor is just great. Another one of my favorite scenes is when Luke meets Vader for the first time since Empire Strikes Back, and I've accepted the truth that you were my father, Anakin Skywalker. And he says, that name has no meaning to me anymore. Something like that.
Yeah.
And just, he's talking to him, trying to convince him, he still sees the good in him, despite him being, the second most evil person in the galaxy at that point.
Also, with the Emperor, there's a scene at the very beginning.
And my favorite line in that is just when he says, then my father truly is dead.
Yeah.
And Vader has a quiet moment where you just, even though you don't see his face, you can tell that stung. He is very conflicted, And I got to give credit to David Prowse for for acting in the suit, and just some very subtle movements and stuff to make the character what he is.
So one of my favorite things in this is the build up to the Emperor. Because
you don't see his face at first.
Yeah. Well, very early on, when Darth Vader lands on the second Death Star, and the officer's talking to him, and he says the Emperor is not as forgiving as I am. Yeah. It's just oh, crap.
If he's not... Yeah. And Vader's the guy that chokes people just when they make, one mistake. You better not make this guy angry.
Actually, on the VHS cover... You can see it's the fight between Luke and Vader with the Emperor sitting in the back.
That's a great fight scene, too.
Although I'm confused about the perspective.
I also really love the stuff on... The opening of the film, in 1983, nobody knew what Jabba the Hutt looked like. Yeah. They just had heard him talk about, in passing, just if I don't get this money to Jabba the Hutt, I'm a dead man, and then you finally see him.
He's this big, giant slug.
He's this big alien slug. I love the voice actor they got for him too.
He's so good.
He's so disgusting and like evil.
It fits the role.
He's this space gangster that he's always like. I love how his place, they're just, always throwing parties, and there's, criminals hanging out there. For some reason, Boba Fett is there.
Yeah, he's just hanging around there. He doesn't even do anything. He just stands there.
I think what happened is Boba Fett he brought the bounty, but then he decided, you know what, this is kind of fun. I'm going to stay here and party with these guys for a while. Because there's no reason for him to be there. He's a bounty hunter. Doesn't he have other jobs? Maybe he's looking for someone on Tatooine. I don't know. In his downtime. But I love the character of Jabba. He's another one of my favorite Star Wars characters. He's just so disgusting, evil.
And then when he's done with a person, he just drops him into the Rancor.
He drops him into a Rancor. He has this big dinosaur-like thing as a pet.
Yeah, he just has 2 gates that whenever he wants to, he just pulls like a chain.
That Rancor puppet looks really good.
It's a very good puppet.
It looks like a real creature that's moving around trying to kill Luke. And that scene where Luke is stuck in the Rancor pit, he looks terrified.
And then after Luke kills it, you see the guy that's the pet keeper of the Rancor crying because the Rancor died.
I feel so bad for him, because it's his pet.
Actually,
killed him.
I have a book. It has a collection of just random stories. One of them is about that guy. And about how it's all about him and that Rancor and how he grew up with it as a child and how it was his only friend. It's just wow, you made the story even sadder.
I would love to read this. Gosh, talking about this one, this might be my favorite now.
I love
I give the edge to Empire though because of Cloud City, but it's close for me. Just all the scenes with Jabba. I like the part where that bounty hunter shows up with Chewbacca. You don't know it's Princess Leia yet, and she's wearing that mask and talking in that strange voice. Ooh. Apparently, it was the same voice actor that did E.T.
Yeah.
Which after listening to it, I can definitely see that. And I love how she just pulls out a thermal detonator.
Just ready to blow it up.
Gun out, and Jabba's just laughing. Jabba's just laughing. He's going, "Oh, I like this bounty hunter, scum." I admire, his guts.
Yeah.
And just one of my favorite parts is just right after that when the music starts back up and you just see a shot of Boba Fett just nodding, just in admiration.
I also love the beginning of this film. How Luke sends C-3PO and R2-D2 there without telling him what's going to happen.
Too, yeah.
And then the hologram is and to you, Jabba, I present this gift. These 2 droids.
R2, you're playing the wrong message.
Yeah, and C-3PO freaks out. It's such a good scene.
R2-D2 is so just... I love how R2-D2 just rushes in there. Nothing wrong to it. And C-3PO is just R2, wait for me. He's just so scared of what's going to happen. Oh, man.
And then, of course, the fight on the little smaller ships. On the skiffs.
The sail barge, yeah. I don't like the choreography on that as much.
There are some lazy parts.
There's this one part where Luke kicks somebody.
A guy.
It looks so
clearly
bad.
Misses.
And another thing I don't like about this scene, I don't like the way Boba Fett dies.
It is kind of dumb.
He's just so
Boba Fett where?
He just accidentally knocks him. Granted, he gets knocked into the best possible place.
I know.
Not the Rancor. Sorry, Sarlacc
pit.
The Sarlacc's an interesting
It's an interesting beast.
That's a weird thing. And it makes me wonder: does Jabba do this normally? Does he just put people in this thing?
I like to think that he does. He has a schedule. All right, it's Saturday. I'm gonna take people to the Sarlacc pit, throw them in.
That's part of what I like about it. He's a space gangster. He's killing people off, sort of in The Godfather, except for that he's throwing them into these pits to digest you over 1,000 years, and throwing him down to his pet, his pet dinosaur thing. It's just Rancor, and it's just great. I just love this stuff with Jabba.
I actually saw an edit of that scene where the only thing that they did.
Oh, and you see Luke's green lightsaber for the first time.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Well,
it's
all they do in this scene is they make Luke's lightsaber so long that it just goes off screen the entire time it's there. It's pretty good.
Yeah. I think it's a great resolution to Luke's character arc.
It very much is. Yeah.
He's become a Jedi. He sort of redeems his father.
Yeah.
You know. And I love the shot where you see the ghost like just
watching
on Endor.
What's interesting is how they changed that in the special edition re-releases. They changed out Anakin and
Hayden
Obi-Wan's.
Christensen in there. They didn't change Obi-Wan.
I think they did in one of them, didn't they?
No, they didn't. They put Hayden Christensen in there.
Yeah.
Instead of Sebastian Shaw, which is kind of weird because he was redeemed at the end of his life. So why is it?
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's a great ending. I think it's a perfect ending. Like I think just the first one's a great introduction. Empire's a great like middle section.
I think this is a good finale.
And then this is a great finale. Yeah.
I'm very glad.
I would say the original Star Wars trilogy is my favorite film trilogy of all time.
Yeah,
I would say.
I am very glad that they changed the ending from what one of the original endings was. Which is the one where
I heard about this.
Yeah, because there's an ending where Luke was
turns to the dark side. Yeah.
Yeah, like he picks up Vader's mask and says something stupid. I think basically the line was
he says something like "I'll carry on your work" or something.
No. He said
something like that.
He said now I am become Vader was like the line.
Oh.
Because the I will carry on your work, that's from episode 7.
Whatever.
Basically.
Yeah, Kylo Ren. Sorry. We'll get to that later.
But yeah, I don't like that ending though.
It's a downer ending.
I know.
It doesn't fit.
It doesn't fit Luke's character. It doesn't fit the tone of the movie.
As overly happy as the ending is to some people, I think that would have been so much worse.
Exactly.
It would have been terrible. Kids just leaving the theater just going, oh no, Luke's
a
bad guy. He's going to kill everybody, And this isn't like something like Dark Empire where he just turns to the dark side so that he can like stop the Emperor.
Yeah.
He like turns to the actual dark side. Like I guess they do sort of build it up a bit, like where you think he's going to, but then he throws away his lightsaber and says, "I'll never turn to the dark side." I just love that too, like that part where he like is like taunting the Emperor, but he like says, "I'm a Jedi, like my father before me. You have failed, Your Highness." Great. I think visually, this is probably the best one, honestly.
Yeah.
I think the puppets look great. I
the
think
sets are...
The ship battles are the best in the series, if you ask me. That final battle at the end with Lando's in the Millennium Falcon, that alone is like fantastic. But also it's kind of a way to redeem him a bit, for like people who thought, okay, he betrayed Han in the previous one. This one, he's saves the day. He blows up the Death Star.
My favorite set in this movie is the Emperor's throne room.
That
is a wonderful set.
I do love Jabba's palace though.
That one's great. But what I love the most about the Emperor's throne room is the fact that he has a giant throne in front of like a big glass window looking out into space.
Yeah.
Like it's so overtly evil that I just love it.
And the way he turns around.
I know, it's a swivel chair.
And what's hilarious is I was recently watching this Star Wars ripoff. What was it called? Shape of Things to Come. Yeah, it was, and it had Jack Palance in it as the bad guy, and he plays a character who is an emperor. And there's one shot where he like turns the chair around just like the Emperor. But this was before Return of the Jedi came out. This is 1979, even though it was clearly influenced by Star Wars.
Yeah,
terrible movie by the way, but it's I don't know, like just the villains are great. I love Luke's character arc in this. I like that I like with this one, Han gets to be a good guy.
Yeah.
In the previous ones, he was kind of an anti-hero.
And it makes sense in this one for him to be a good guy.
Yeah.
Especially since Jabba's been taken care of.
I do have sort of a problem, though, like, he's kind of clumsy in this one a bit. There's like some jokes, and granted, they're funny. I think some of them are funny, but like, it's just... Come on.
I mean,
maybe it's part of the unfreezing process.
Well, in the original Star Wars, there was that kind of joke with Han Solo when he's running down the hallway chasing people.
It didn't bother me as much because they had done jokes like that at
Yeah.
Han's expense in the previous ones. You know, like the banter between Leia and Han. You know, I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain. I love the part where Han meets Chewbacca again when they're in. You know, when they're imprisoned at Jabba's palace, just like he's like telling him about Luke, a Jedi Knight.
I'm away for 5 seconds, and everyone's got delusions of grandeur.
Yeah, it's a great scene. There's just so many great scenes in all these movies. Again, I love that Lando flies the Millennium Falcon. It was his ship originally, too, so it's fitting, I think.
I also like how Han Solo's like, you know, don't scratch it. And then Lando proceeds to knock off the satellite dish from the
I love
the Millennium Falcon.
When he blows up the second Death Star and Lando's just like, you know, just lets out like this yell. I just smile every time I see that. Just great. I just love Billy D. Williams in these movies. I'm glad that they're bringing him back for another one.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
It's like, come on, he's Lando.
And they're also bringing back the Emperor for the new one, which will be interesting to see how that turns out.
Probably be an adaptation of Dark Empire or something where they resurrect him, like, by... In that one, they, like, have a clone of the Emperor or something. He, like, had a bunch of clones. It's dumb, I think.
Well, people are saying it's going to be tied into some recent comics, which actually had, like, a gateway to the underworld that you could access.
It's still dumb, though.
So,
I think,
yeah.
because it ruins Vader's character arc for me.
It does.
He's supposed to... He redeemed himself by killing the Emperor and saving the day. I don't like that they're trying to do that. I mean, granted... It might be a chance to see Ian McDermott back. You know,
plus,
and he's great,
but, you know, having him back will give the movie some more entertainment value.
Yeah, at the same time, I thought he was kind of played out through the prequels.
Yeah.
But we'll get to those. So, the music I think is great. The cinematography. This might be the best looking of the three. There's tons of great shots.
Oh yeah.
In this, it just looks great. I think. I know you mentioned this is your least favorite of the...
Yeah, it's my least favorite of the original trilogy.
It was for a while, but part of that, for me, there came a point where I thought the Ewoks felt out of place in the movie. They felt more like...
Yeah.
I don't know, out of something like, I don't know, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome or something. It's a terrible movie, but... There's definitely a better third movie than that.
Yeah.
And I guess they kind of were trying to, in some ways, target this more towards the younger audience in some ways, you know, with the Ewoks, you know. And there's that Ewoks cartoon. I've never seen it. I've seen the TV movies, and they're not really worth checking out, if you ask me. But I do kind of like the Ewoks in this, because, like, I love the battle scenes.
Yeah,
where they're
kind of
destroying the stormtroopers. I love how they're using logs to smash walkers and stuff. Yeah.
Actually, they tested that on MythBusters. They got like a really big like armored car and set up the logs to where they were. And it actually did crush the
really?
car. Yeah.
I would have guessed no, but yeah, that's cool. I like the they're just killing all these stormtroopers. Like
they nearly cooked Han and Luke
and stuff. Like, yeah, they try and eat. That's another thing people forget. Like, they're not exactly the nicest.
Not really.
They try and eat the main characters.
I actually love that scene where they're trying to cook them, and then Luke tells C-3PO...
Something tells me that didn't help us. Han's line.
I love it when Luke tells C-3PO, tell him that you're a god, and that if you cook us,
that's great,
you're unholy fury.
And Luke uses the force to make him levitate.
Yeah. And C-3PO's freaking out just as much as the Ewoks are.
I do like the part where C-3PO's telling them like stories of their previous adventures, and he's doing the sound effects. I know,
too. Like he makes like a Darth Vader breathing noise. Yeah. He does lightsaber noises.
Yeah, does it? I don't think he does the ships too.
Oh yeah.
Back to Jabba's palace, though. Another thing I like about Jabba's palace, kind of like the same reason I like the Mos Eisley scene in the cantina, is just all these weird creatures you see in there, and just tons of great puppets too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I can only imagine how hot it would have been in there, like trying to.
Yeah.
There were like 5 people inside of that Jabba the Hutt puppet, like operating
Yeah.
it.
She was like one dude operating like the eyes.
Yeah.
And then
it's really cool
else
watching the behind the scenes stuff.
Oh
too.
yeah.
I like the band too. You got that blue elephant looking thing.
Playing like a keyboard.
Yeah.
I hated that scene though.
In the original
remake.
I think the scene in the special edition I think is terrible, but
it goes on too long.
In the original, it's this short, sort of disco-inspired track, and it actually sounds like an alien language. And it's not my favorite song in the series, but I think it fits better.
Yeah.
I like this shot where Jabba's like dancing a bit too, but then they like added in this like pop song in the later one. It just feels very out of place.
It goes on for far too long.
There's these CGI characters that are like up close to the camera. It just looks really bad. I think that's one of the worst special editions.
It looks like it was meant to be viewed with 3D glasses. One special edition change
I don't mind so much though. I don't mind the celebration at the end.
Yeah, I do like that.
They show more planets and stuff, and
they show some of the planets from the prequels too.
Yeah,
they Naboo.
They show Naboo. They show what else? They show Tatooine. I think, yeah. They show more planets. Like it feels more grand and epic than.
Like it feels like it's the ending to 6 movies.
I know a lot of people like the
3.
original song, Yub Nub, and it's a catchy song. It's a fun song. But I like that they had this bigger, more bombastic, kind of thing.
Don't forget, Jar Jar makes his reappearance in the celebration when he yells "Wisa free."
It might not be Jar Jar though. It might just be some random Gungan, but it possibly.
I think it is actually just some random Gungan.
I think
Darth Vader himself actually.
I don't know if they got Ahmed Best to do the voice or not. One of the problems I did have with it when I was, was Han Solo seems kind of there.
Yeah.
I don't think Harrison Ford's performance is as good as his performance in the first
other
two.
ones, no.
He does have some funny lines though, like where Luke, like where they first arrive on Endor, and like Luke like says, "Don't do anything. They might hear us," and he says, "Hey, it's me." It's me. But I do like that. He gets to destroy the shield generator for the Death Star. Every character contributes.
Oh yeah.
Something to the end of the I do like that. Leia gets to kill a bunch of people.
Yeah.
I like that. One thing I don't like is I don't like that they revealed Leia to be Luke's sister. That just come on.
Yeah.
You already revealed that Darth Vader is Luke's father. And
the whole dialogue in that scene was a bit awkward too.
I thought acting wise they did a good job, but the dialogue is a bit clunky. I'll admit. There are some clunky lines of dialogue.
I saw an edit towards the end when Leia reveals to Han that she loves him and not Luke, and then Leia said, "Luke's my brother." There was an edit where it's Han's like worried expression, and then it's showing the scene from Episode 5 when she kissed him.
Oh yeah, and that's another thing that makes it really awkward.
Yeah,
originally
those previous
there was kind
ones.
of a love triangle.
Yeah,
between the 3.
Especially in the original.
Yeah. Because in Empire Strikes Back, they're like not.
Yeah, together.
The characters are kind of separate.
Yeah.
They are in this one too, though, but it flows.
Yeah, they have more screen time together.
It flows very well, I think. Because one thing a lot of the Star Wars movies try to do is with the climaxes, they would have like different battles going on.
Yeah.
I think this one did that the best of the 3, editing it so there's multiple battles. You got the lightsaber one of Luke and Vader. And you got the Endor one, and you also have, of course, Lando and, blowing up the Death Star. And that probably is my favorite Spaceball of the series, to be honest, because I feel the trench run goes on a bit too long. And
it does.
And it could have been... And that's the only battle going on, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, it's a big thing. They're trying to destroy the Death Star, but it could have been trimmed a bit. But in this one, I feel like it flowed very well. It flowed very well. They tried doing that in some of the other ones, and it felt a bit jarring, I think. But this one, I think, did it the best. It is kind of silly, I guess, that the Ewoks defeat the Empire. You know?
Yeah.
But at the
It
same
almost
time,
feels like they would have done that regardless of whether or not
yeah.
Luke Leia and the
But I
others
guess at
arrived.
the same time, because George Lucas was apparently inspired a bit by the Vietnam War. Apparently, the Viet Cong,
with guerrilla
their
warfare.
guerrilla tactics. They're more because another thing is this is their home planet. They're more familiar with it.
Yeah.
It's their home turf. You know? I've got my best troops down there on that planet. But it doesn't bother me as much though. You know, it's entertaining. It's a fun movie to watch. You know, I would say it's like definitely one of the most entertaining of the series. Maybe not like the absolute best, you know, which I think is Empire, but I do greatly enjoy this film a lot. But another problem, this is a bit of a plot hole, like, why didn't Obi-Wan tell Luke about Vader being his father?
That is a good question.
It's kind of...
Because when Luke even asks him about it, he doesn't even give a reason for why he did it.
What I've told you is true from a certain point.
Yeah, that's all he says. It's like...
He says, your father was seduced by the dark side of the Force. He ceased to be your father and became Darth Vader, which...
I mean, yeah, but that's kind of
true,
weak.
But yeah,
it's kind of a weak reason to give to Luke.
Yeah. I think maybe... You know, because another thing is Yoda and Obi-Wan were warning Luke not to go to Bespin in Empire Strikes Back. And maybe if he had told them that, he wouldn't have gone.
Yeah.
He would have said, I can't kill my father. You know, there's a lot of dark, dramatic moments, but then there's like a lot of like very silly,
light-hearted,
sort of
goofy
kid-friendly moments, you know, with like the Ewoks and stuff, which I feel a bit out of place. But I would say overall, this is my second favorite of the series.
Of the whole series, I actually put it lower than a few other films.
Okay. I understand people's problems with it, because again, this used to be my least favorite of the original trilogy. I will say that. It used to be my least favorite of the original trilogy. But rewatching them and actually thinking about it, I went, you know what, I would say it's my second favorite. You know, I remember a lot of stuff from it. You know, when I just sit down and think Star Wars, that one usually pops in my head. Empire Strikes Back pops in my head. Those are like the first ones that pop in my head, usually. But yeah, some of the trivia. Revenge of the Jedi was the original title, apparently.
Yeah.
But George Lucas changed it because one reason he gave was that he felt Jedi don't seek revenge.
Yeah.
You know, and then later, obviously, Revenge of the Sith was the last film of the prequels, and they named that one that. But I also heard another reason was to avoid counterfeit merchandising, but I'm not sure if that's true or not. That might just be wrong.
Something else that I actually liked about this, when they were filming, they wanted to keep the filming of it secret, so George Lucas
titled
said
it Blue Harvest and said it was a horror
movie.
film. Yeah,
I would have actually.
That was actually
the
next thing I was gonna say.
I would actually like to see, like, a Blue Harvest.
Maybe
film.
that's the film David Lynch was supposed to.
Oh, maybe. Okay, I want this to happen now. David Lynch, George
yeah.
Lucas horror
Blue
movie
Harvest.
combo.
Oh man, that'd be perfect.
They
also,
put it under the guise of filming a new Star Wars movie.
You know what they should do? They should even include some of the puppets.
Oh, they should.
Salacious Crumb is like this like alien that kills people or something. Like, I would watch that. Sort of like Extra or something. But yeah, they did that because they didn't want fans getting onto the sets.
Yeah.
You know? So they said, no, this is what we're filming. But then there were people that showed up and then they saw that Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill were there, and they realized, oh, wait a minute, this must be the new Star Wars film if these three are there.
Yeah.
Following the success of Boba Fett, George Lucas admitted that he had no idea that the character had become so popular.
Yeah.
He mentioned that if he had known, he would have given the bounty hunter a more memorable death scene. Lucas even considered adding a shot of Boba Fett escaping the Sarlacc for the 2004 DVD release, but he decided against it as he didn't want viewers to be distracted from the intended storyline. I wish they'd done more of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
He was a very promising character that I wish they'd done a lot more with. Yoda is the only Jedi that dies of natural causes.
That is true. The only one that we've seen.
Maybe, well, we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But, in the 2004 DVD release, George Lucas explained the reason behind why Yoda told Luke that Darth Vader was his father. Lucas had consulted with a child psychologist during the making of the film. The psychologist said that unless it was unequivocally stated that Vader was Luke's father, moviegoers aged 12 and under would dismiss Vader's claim to be Luke's father as a lie. Fake scripts were distributed to some cast members that were considered likely to leak information to the media. Some of these phony story elements were indeed leaked, such as Lando being revealed as the last hope for the Jedi, mentioned by Obi-Wan and Yoda in The Empire Strikes Back. They should have done that.
Yeah, that would have been a great finale.
I love that.
Lando just picks up a lightsaber and kills the Emperor himself.
One thing I kind of wish they'd done is maybe make Leia a Jedi or something.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
would've
they
been
kind of started to do that
They
in some
sort
of
of
the
started
sequels,
that in
but
Return of the Jedi, but they didn't really do much of it.
it's
'Cause
more
you
like
can
she had a
tell-
force awareness than
yeah,
actual
she
force powers.
She talks with Luke like she knows to go back to Bespin to save him in Empire Strikes Back. Sir Alec Guinness filmed his scene in just one day, just like the last film. Admiral Akbar's famous line, "It's a trap," was originally scripted as, "It's a trick." The line was changed in post-production after a negative test screening. It sounds better, I think.
Yeah.
It's a trap. It's a trick just sounds like, I mean, it's not terrible, but like it's a trap sounds right.
Yeah.
It sounds better.
Sounds better.
They actually filmed a sail barge scene in Arizona. They had when they were filming under the title Blue Harvest, the tagline was "Horror Beyond Imagination," and they even had caps and T-shirts made up for the crew.
I would love to have one of those caps or
I
T-shirts.
would too. A chain link fence. They're probably so rare now, though.
Yeah.
A chain link fence and a 24-hour security service could not prevent diehard fans from entering the set and sneaking some photographs. Apparently, Mark Hamill was the one that... The alternate ending you mentioned, that was actually Mark Hamill's idea.
Really?
He pitched the idea of Luke donning Darth Vader's helmet after Vader's death, leaving the ending and Luke's character more ambiguous or ominous. George Lucas disagreed, opting for a happy ending. I'm glad they didn't do that.
I'm very
Maybe that
glad
was in
happy
David
ending.
Lynch's script.
No, David Lynch's script would have ended even weirder.
David Lynch's script would have just been insane.
Yeah, especially with no Hollywood involvement.
Oh, that's true. He could do
don't...
whatever he wanted, so long as George Lucas was fine with it.
Yeah.
Probably would have just ended up like Dune and would have just been terrible. Shooting the scene of Darth Vader's unmasking was handled with so much secrecy that Sebastian Shaw was not even told what he would be doing until he arrived on the set. He was spotted by his old friend Ian McDiarmid, who, the Emperor. He asked Shaw what he was doing there, and Shaw answered, "I don't know. They haven't told me anything about it except it has something to do with science fiction." And then there was an interview with one of the actors from Phantom Menace. He was apparently good friends of Sebastian Shaw and Alec Guinness as well. He told a story about how Sebastian Shaw had gotten a part, and he was like asking, what part did you get? And he's like, it was some science fiction film. I don't remember the character's name right. Darth Vader. And he's like, "You're what? Do you know how famous?" He was going on about, because he clearly didn't know exactly how famous Star Wars was. It was Brian Blessed who told that story. He was Boss Nass in the Phantom Menace. Yeah. Hayden Christensen mentioned in an interview that he didn't fully know what George Lucas was up to when he was inserted into the special edition. Otherwise, he would have played the scene totally different. His facial expression,
because from what I remember,
looks weird.
He's just kind of standing there smiling at the camera.
He looks kind of weird. He looks kind of yeah. Originally, Yoda was not in the script. Yoda was added when George Lucas determined him best to properly confirm to Luke as to whether Darth Vader was his father or not. The title was originally Revenge of the Jedi. But producers thought the Jedi wouldn't seek revenge due to their ethical code. Some posters and theater stand-ups were made early, but then quickly pulled when the title changed names. Also, Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan was originally to be called Star Trek II: The Revenge of Khan, but the title for that movie was changed to avoid confusion with this movie back when Revenge of the Jedi was
That's pretty good.
David Lynch and David Cronenberg were considered to direct, as we previously mentioned.
Yeah.
And possibly Steven Spielberg, but I might have to look that up later. It was either that or the next one, but yeah. Was nominated for 5 Oscars and won 1 award.
Oh.
Best Art Direction, Set Decoration, which it lost to Fanning Alexander. Best Sound Effects Editing, which it lost to The Right Stuff. Best Original Score, which it lost to Bill Conti for The Right Stuff. Best Sound, which it lost to The Right Stuff, and it won Best Visual Effects, which I think was deserved. The Right Stuff is a very good movie, though. So,
All right, so that'll do it for this episode covering the original trilogy, and in the next one, it will be about the prequel movies.
Yeah.
Those are a good time. Anyway, until then, we will see you next time.